Hi there, I'm Cathi Barker from Software Solutions, and we're looking at Microsoft Outlook and we're looking at the calendar. Now, in the last video, we basically configured the calendar and customized the calendar, and we created an appointment. And we created an appointment using the new appointment button. But when you create an appointment using the new appointment button, you've got to type everything from scratch. A lot of the appointments I create actually emanate from an email. So I'm going to go back to my inbox, for example. Now, if I've got an email, doesn't matter who it's from, and I drag that email to my calendar, it creates an appointment. And more importantly, all the information that was in the email is now in the body of that appointment. Let me just close that, don't save. Let me take something that's more user-friendly. Book me in for the 24th. I could drag that and drop that on the 24th or any date for that matter. I just drop it on my calendar. Then I just put in what it is, Excel. I'll put in the 24th. And maybe it's not the 24th of January, so I'll shift tab back. It's the 24th of February. So we learned in the last video, tab moves you forward, shift tab moves you backwards. So Excel level 2, tab, 24th of the 3rd, tab, and she wants to go from 1p to 5p. Location, I could put my own address here, 627, and done. Save and close. If I then go and look at my calendar, I can see that on the 24th, there it is there. Oops, 24th of March. There it is there, Excel level 2. If I double click it, I can actually see what's in the email and I can remind myself what that appointment was about. So you don't have to create an email from scratch, an appointment from scratch by going to the calendar and going to home and choosing new appointment. You can go to your email and drag an email to your calendar and set that email up as an appointment. Notice you don't lose the email from your inbox. So by dragging an email to your calendar to create an appointment, you don't lose the email. If you then file the email away, and if you do lose the email, it doesn't matter because all the details are encapsulated in the actual appointment notes. In the same way as in an earlier video, we looked at creating contacts. You can drag an email to create a contact by dragging it to your people button, and that creates a new contact. Close that, save no. You can drag an email to your calendar to make an appointment. Close that, save no. So get in the habit of actually dragging because then it's going to be less typing and more detail or more information is encapsulated in those items. Okay, so we know how to create an appointment from scratch or from an email. Now what I want to have a look at is color coding. When you go to your calendar, you can actually go to a particular appointment like this, and you can right click and you can apply a category. You can also do it up here with this categorize button and the ribbon, and you can also do it if I open it up at the point that you were creating the email as a categorize button. So why do I use color? Color basically tells me what sort of week I've got. So this dark maroon is development. This purple means that I've sent course reminders for these courses. The yellow means that this is social, this is a public holiday. The blue is training preparation and green is personal stuff. So I've got to get art supplies. And business management is grey. So different colors tell me what's going on. If I'm sitting on an appointment and I right click, I can assign whatever I want to it. If I go to all categories, that's where you can create your own. You could create a new category and you could call it meetings. You could choose a color, say that color there, and okay. I don't want to assign it to that task, so untick it and go okay. But when I go to the 24th of March, for example, this is a meeting, so I'm going to right click and apply the color meetings. And that's how I color code or assign categories to various items in my calendar. So really, really handy to use color for your appointments. Now, let me just delete that. Okay. When you create an appointment either from scratch or from an email, you can actually turn it into an event. And you can see up here, I've got various items sitting at the top here. At the top, these events tell me that I've got to do those things on that day, but it's not assigned to a particular time interval. So I've got to put out the red and the glass bins on a Thursday, whereas the week before I've got to put out the red and yellow bins. If I have somebody's birthday, if I have payday filing, if I have next week's courseware reminders, you can turn them into what they call an event, which sits up high rather than an appointment. So how do we make it an event? I'm just going to double click my calendar, and I might say that this is somebody's birthday, or it may be a meeting. No, yeah, meeting reminders. Whatever you want to set up by. I might decide I want to put it on Friday, the 20th. And instead of assigning it to a particular time interval, which is an appointment, you tick all day. When you tick all day, that puts it up high in your calendar. And so if I save and close on the 20th of January, which is where I made that, then I can see meeting reminders sitting up high. So, and as I scroll down, see how they never disappear from sight? So some people like to put them up there because they never disappear from sight as you scroll up and down the calendar. Now notice that some of these have got little symbols on the right hand side. That means they're reoccurring. So if I have to send out the meeting reminders the 20th of every month, I'm going to double click and open up that particular event. I'm going to go to recurrence and say actually every month, the 20th day of every month, I need to be reminded to send out the meeting reminders. And no end date, just forever and a day, as long as I'm here. So if I choose OK to that, that's now occurring the 20th of every month, effective the 20th of the 1st, and save and close. And so there it is there with the little symbol now. And if I went to the 20th of February, there it is there. And if I went to the 20th of March, there it is there. So an event sits up high, an appointment sits down low. You can make appointments or events recurring. Whenever you make an appointment, for example, let me just click on something, for example, and I go to recurrence, that's when you can make it a recurring weekly, daily, yearly, if it's a birthday, anniversary, things like that. So get really organized with your calendar. Now, when it comes to meetings, so we understand an appointment sits down low, an event sits up high, and both of those only involve you. If you want to involve others, then you make a meeting. And so you can either go to the Home tab and choose New Meeting, or you can choose a Teams meeting here, or even Meet Now. So Microsoft Teams is becoming more and more included and integrated into Outlook, so that it's seamless. But what I want to do is just basically double click the calendar again. And if I decide that I'm going to have a board meeting, one way is to just jump to the scheduling assistant. If I go to the scheduling assistant, that is when I can start adding people. So I'm going to add attendees and click this one, shift click this one, and I want to add all of these people as being required. Some people can be put down as optional, some things can be put down as resources, because sometimes we want to book certain resources for that meeting. But I'm just going to choose these 5 people and OK. It will look into their calendars and tell me when they're free. They're pretty much free most of the time. So I'm going to find a time period just by scrolling that they're free, or I can use the auto pick. Auto pick for all people, earlier time. Oops, no, sorry. Auto pick, just click on it, required people. And so here is a time that everybody's free. Auto pick again, required people, and it just moves forward. I think I would rather just find this period here. So I'm going to click on this and drag it 2 till 4. So I want to do Wednesday, the 1st of February from 2 to 4, all of these people. Now, Scheduling Assistant allows you to refresh availability, auto pick availability, add attendees, add rooms, things like that. Meeting allows you to attach any files that you want to send, you know, minutes from the last meeting, agenda for the next meeting, lets you write any notes in here, lets you put the location in here. And ultimately what you're going to do is hit send. So I'm going to put board meeting and I'm going to hit send. Do you want to send this meeting without a location? Don't send, so you put a location in here. So let's just say 627, that'll be fine, and send. All right, so what will happen now is an email will be sent to all of those people for the 1st of February. Here it is here. And I'll ultimately be able to see who's coming and who's not. If I double click it at the moment and I go into tracking, I can see that I'm the meeting organizer. All of these people are required and none of them have responded yet. So I'll go back to meeting and I'll exit out of there. Let me just put you on pause while I go and accept a meeting. All right, so as I return to my inbox, I can see one of the people I invited has accepted the board meeting, so that's great. So I could either make a quick step like we talked about in an earlier video to quickly file away meeting requests. And if I go back to my calendar and I go back to the 1st and double click, and if I go to tracking at the top, I can actually see that one person is accepted and I haven't heard from the others yet. So as far as a meeting goes, you can start just from double clicking the blank part and switching to the scheduling assistant. That's how you invite others, and switching to appointment will let you put details like the location and attaching files and stuff. If you decide to change the meeting, let me double click, say I need to make it half an hour later, then I will tab to here and go to 30p till 4:30p and send an update, and that will send an update to each and every one of those people. Send update, and it shifts it in your calendar. Now, if I go back to my inbox as well, someone has invited me to lunch, and so here's a meeting here. And basically, once you receive a meeting invite, you get these extra buttons here. And they're quite small when you just click on it once, but if I double click, they appear larger. Let me just move this into view. And so when you receive a meeting request, it tells me here that I've got nothing on then. So the appointment is next to another one in your calendar, but it's not conflicting. And if I felt that that was too tight, then I probably wouldn't accept or decline or tentative. I'd respond, but I want to actually propose another time. Tentative, do not send, accept. And so I would actually edit the message before I sent and say, can we make it half an hour later? And so I will send. Yeah. So that's what a meeting looks like. Yeah. And you accept or reject or what have you. Tracking the meeting. All right, when you create an appointment in your calendar, the other thing is that you may want to make things private. In fact, let's come back for another video for that. Let's leave meetings there. I hope you've liked this. Please like or subscribe. Come back for the next video where we look at how do you look at somebody else's calendar and how do you share calendars with other people and manage calendars for other people. So I'll see you soon.